Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night, it's 7:30. We're live here on Leicester Fan TV. As ever, there is loads and loads and loads of stuff to talk about with only 2 weeks, under 2 weeks, till the big kickoff against Coventry on Sunday, the 6th of August. I'm here for the next 30 minutes. You're here for the next 30 minutes. We're all here for the next 30 minutes. Let's enjoy talking about whatever it is you want to talk about in tonight's Leicester City Fanzone
Welcome
show.
to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, if you're watching this live, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. We're here every Monday, 7:30 until 8 o'clock. There's always stats to talk about. You can follow us right here, wherever they are, on the socials, at Leicester Fan TV, on all channels, including TikTok now, as well as all the others. My name's Phil. What's your name? Where are you watching from? Where are you cheering Leicester on? It's all about what you want to say. Liam says, good evening. Hope you're well, Liam. Keith says, I'm only here for the weather forecast. Keith, it's been wet, but it's been sunny. I've got a little bit of a tan. Must start off by saying thanks a lot to Reedy, who stepped in and ran the show for the last couple of weeks. It's been lovely to have Reedy there to cover me, so thank you very much, Reedy, for that. Neil says, good evening, good evening. Jono says, good evening. Gutted about yesterday. Jono and Reedy yesterday did the watch-along show. Not much of a watch-along show, was it? For an hour watching the rain fall out there in Thailand. Lots to talk about yesterday, I think. And I don't want to start off what feels like a new season, a fresh shirt, a fresh beginning, moaning. But I'm going to have to be careful because I am going to end up moaning because that was a right show yesterday, a right shower of whatever. What would you like to say about yesterday's game? Shouldn't have been in Singapore. I've been saying it for weeks. Singapore, Thailand, it seems stupidity. And then monsoon season, the game gets cancelled. Not the best build-up to a pre-season, is it, really? We played Northampton away, a couple of closed behind doors, fixtures of 3 halves. We've got some game coming up on Wednesday behind closed doors, and then we've got Liverpool, and then we've got Coventry. If you ask me, I hate to say it, but it ain't the best preparation, is it? Jason, good evening. Hope you're well. Get your comments in. Get your comments in there. Jason Mills also says, can we start off by offering condolences to all associated with Trevor Francis, RIP? Jason, I 100% agree with you. I know, obviously, he played for Forest. I'm of the era where it was a massive thing. I remember him signing for Forest. I would have been about eight years old back in the late 70s. What a great player he was, though. First £1 million signing. So RIP to Trevor Francis. I know he was a Forest, but a legend for them. So, yeah, I agree with you. Nice words from you, Jason. I'm glad you reminded me to say that. Thank you there. Let's get back to the football. Hi, Terry. Hi, Leicester for life. Hi, Ian. Hope you're well. Keep getting your comments in. Phil Upton says, good evening. Cov had 3 games in a week. Pre-season training. I know. I looked at the Southampton. Southampton came down, Leicester came down. We're all trying to go back up. They'll think they can go back up. We'll think we can go back up. I've looked at people like Leeds and Southampton's pre-season. And do you know what? Southampton's pre-season looks really good. They played some tough games. They played a bit of Benfica, I think. They played Reading away, just up the road, really, from Southampton. That's nice. They're playing a Premier League team in Bournemouth, just up the road. Sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Let's not go too far. Let's build up to the new season. Leicester, Northampton away. What we played? Peterborough behind closed doors. OH Leven. That was a favour because they were training up at Seagrave for 3 hours. Listen, I don't want to moan, but why were we in Thailand? There was all this, let's launch Foxes Hub. Let's do this. Thousands of fans. There was no fans at the ground yesterday, and it was pouring with rain. Honestly, seems silly to me. Stephen says, hi from sunny Cyprus. Stephen, it is very wet in Loughborough and Leicestershire. Stephen says, not the best build-up, but it's happened, so we move on. Stephen, listen, I'm with you. I know I sound like a moaning mate. I sound like a moaning because I am a little bit. But as soon as we knew we were getting relegated, we needed to work on a decent pre-season. If you ask me, this is not a great pre-season. Nick says, welcome back, Phil. Welcome back, you moany old git, it should be. Keith says, every Premier Club bar 2 have been playing overseas. We've done nothing different. Keith, read your own sentence there. Every Premier League club bar 2 have been playing overseas. Every Premier League club. We're not a Premier League club, Keith. Hello? Hello? Wake you. Keith, we're Championship. We should be building up old school, proper pre-season to a Championship season that we need to win, honestly. Joe says here, all I say is I understand people's frustration. However, if we start a season with a bang and have a great season in general, no one ought to be talking about this at the end of it. So let's just wait and see. Joe, you're 100% right. Let's just wait and see. And let's just hope that we start against Coventry with a bang. I genuinely hope we start with a bang, because like I always say this, come back and watch this video in 2 weeks' time. And we'll be saying, if we have a stinker against Coventry, we'll go, well, that's pre-season for you, isn't it? Didn't prepare properly. We went halfway around the world, didn't play a game. It was wet, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I agree with you. It is about how we start against Coventry in the first 10 games, isn't it? There's lots of that to talk about. So if you want to talk about that, get the comments in there. But, of course, Harvey Barnes has left Leicester City. Any views on Harvey? Let me know on that. Good memories, bad memories. 38 million, bit of add-ons, decent deal. What do you think of Harvey? You happy? Well, nobody's going to be happy because Harvey Barnes in the Championship, I'm sure you'd all agree, would have done really well. What do you think to Harvey Barnes? There's rumours of Ndidi going back to Celtic, mate. Well, back to Brendan Rodgers, maybe to Celtic for Leicester want 20 million. Can't think we get 20 million for Ndidi. There's talk, perhaps more worryingly, of Ricardo Pereira going to Nice. Now, that has got quite a lot of oomph about it. And if you ask me, a bit like last year, it seems like Enzo's building a bit of a team around how Ricardo Pereira is going to operate. So I think that would be a big loss. Dave says, is the Liverpool game off? No, Dave. As far as I know, it's on. It's out there. I believe it's in Singapore. Scooby says, just saw team pics out there, absolutely red hot. They're all sitting in ice cold baths. Look sunburned. I never know with you, Scooby, whether I haven't seen those photos. I never know if Scooby's taking the mickey. He normally is in there. Steve says, we had a good pre-season last year, then look what happened. Did we have a good pre-season, Steve, last year? I thought last year was all about Brendan Rodgers putting Ricardo Pereira in that position and then say we're going to play this new way, and then he got injured and it all fell to pieces. I'm not sure we did have a great pre-season, Steve. If you class losing Kasper Schmeichel 4 days before the season starts a good pre-season. So I'm going to slightly disagree with you on that in there. Lots and lots of views coming in there. No, we don't have a stinker as we don't have any attacking players, says Dave in there. I'm not quite getting your drift there, Dave. Andrew says, should have been held at Buriram United's Chang Arena, which has better facilities and a roof, says Andrew. Andrew, feel free to volunteer to go and organise stuff down at Leicester City, mate. Well done, sir. Again, and this is part of my worry about yesterday, and I do not want to moan. I was saying it in chat groups yesterday. I don't want to moan, but listen, at what point we've spent the last 2 years a little catalogue of mistakes, little bits of mistakes all the way. We all want to draw a line under the sand and go, we're relegated, Enzo's here, new beginnings. But again, it just feels like, when are we going to stop making these little bitsy mistakes? I really hope we don't. Jono says here, apart from the trip, the transfer side of things has been great. Got loads and loads of dead wood and made 4 good signings. Jono, that's interesting. Hopefully you're going to join me in a minute on the show. I'm going to pop Jono on very, very shortly to get his views in there. Martin says, Ricky P ain't going nowhere. Thanks, Martin. Have you got the inside track on that, Martin? Have you? I'm wondering where you're getting information from, because there's a lot of rumours out there today. I checked, but a minute before we came on, there is bits of rumours and chat on media all across Europe about Ricardo Pereira going back to Nice. In there, Jason says, I read that Ricardo and Nice is a non-starter as they can't afford the fee in there. It's an interesting one. Well, I want to know what you think about Harvey Barnes. Let's have a little bit of Harvey Barnes chit-chat in there. Let me know in there. Tony says, all a bit bizarre. The iffy bath stuff, drinking the water, we'll all have rummy bumps. I should read comments before I put them up. Lesson learned in there. Terry says, how many injuries have we had in the past few years from friendlies? I agree. We all remember the Fafana one down at Leicester there. And it was quite right. They didn't play the game yesterday. I'm not saying for a second they should have played. The pitch looked awful, looked absolutely awful. In fact, it is. Oh God, I'm off again. I'm moaning. I'm sure many of you were watching it on Leicester Hub, the new way that some people will be able to watch Leicester City next season. I'm going to have to make this point. I find it really. It's going to be an interesting experience watching Leicester play with people paid by Leicester to commentate on it, because it's a little bit like if I opened a can of Coke and I was paid by Coke and this was the Coca-Cola tea show, and I was suddenly started drinking the can of Coke and commentating on it, because guess what? I'd be saying, oh, this can of Coke, this Coke is brilliant. It's so much better than anything else you can get out there. And it was interesting listening to the commentators yesterday, bless them, because they have to obviously be Leicester positive. We're all used to watching Sky Sports, BT, BBC Match of the Day, where you'll have a commentator who'll be neutral and you'll have a pundit who might have a bit of a view. But when you've got a couple of people who are Leicester, paid by Leicester to commentate on Leicester, I'm almost interested to see what they'll be commentating on when we're, hopefully never happens next season, but if we're 2-0 down or something, they'll still be finding the good bits out of a bad thing, which is why we love doing Leicester Fan TV, because we can say it exactly as we see it. Like it or leave it. If you don't like what we say, don't watch it. It's simple. But join the conversation like Ryan is here. I wish Harvey well. He's been with us since he was 9 years old, so I wish him well. It didn't do to Maddison going. Don't quite get the end bit, Ryan, there. But I agree. I think, listen, Harvey Barnes has been at Leicester for a long time. And, we made 38 million from him, and he did pretty good for us in the Premier League. Harvey Barnes, a good bit of business for me, says Nick. Sad to see him go as a Leicester lad through and through, but makes sense off the wage bill, and we can get in some new faces with the money in there. I think, Nick, that's an interesting one in there. Leicester for Life says we need 2 wingers plus Mavadidi, who we are linked with for depth, then a number 8, then a striker, and then maybe a couple of right backs and a centre back. Leicester for Life. Do you know what, though? I still feel, I don't know what you guys all feel, I still feel there's going to be 3 or 4 going out the door and 3 or 4 coming in the door. Somebody yesterday was trying to have a debate in one of the chat groups I'm in. It's like, oh, we've done good business, and, the squad's looking really good. I'm like, I don't think you can judge the squad at the moment. I don't know what you guys think, but can you judge our squad yet? Because I'm sure there'll be players coming in there. Leicester for Life says we have so much money. Be interesting. I bet we don't spend it all. Again, I sound like I'm moaning. I'm not, but I bet we don't. We've made effectively 80 million quid so far from Harvey Barnes and Madders. What have we spent? About 17 so far of that. Be interesting to see. Chris Tatum says, always like Barnes, went up players and made things happen. When his confidence was up, he was a decent player. Chris, I think you got it spot on there. I was speaking to somebody at work today who's a Newcastle fan, and he thinks he's got a decent player. And I said it is about confidence with Harvey Barnes. When he's on form, he can be really direct, really aggressive, powerful young man, powerful player, scores goals, and his stats are good. But when he's off confidence, sometimes you think, is there a football brain in there? Can he hit a barn door? Richie says, good evening, Richie. Hope you're well. Says, get rid of Vestergaard, Pratt, Iheanacho, and Daka. I would, Vestergaard, I would get rid of. Dennis Pratt, I would keep. Kelechi Iheanacho, please stay, because in the Championship you'd be amazing, is my idea. Daka, yeah, I think you all know what I think about Daka. I don't need to say it again and again. Liam says, nervous for us this year. Yeah, I'm a bit, Liam, because we need to come out of the gates flying, mate. Team together has been what's given us a success in the past. We need to recapture what Nigel started in League One. Well, hopefully that is coming on it. Simon says he agrees with me. We won't spend it all, Simon. I just don't think we will at all. I think there's a lot of book balancing to go on, and I think that won't happen. Simon also goes on to say, keep Pratt. Honestly, Dennis Pratt is too good a player for the Championship, as is Kelechi Iheanacho. So if we can keep them, I would definitely be up them. Dave says 80 million up, let Daka go on for a free. Come on. Dave actually would. mate, I'd get him 68 grand a week. He's on something like that. I'd get him off the books. I also don't think he's good enough for the Championship. Ben, good evening, Ben. Thanks for your comments. Said, need serious creativity now. Losing Maddison and Barnes, that's our attacking threat gone. Kelechi most likely to go. Unfortunately, I think Benny might go. He might go. But if he's going to go, let him go. He said needs serious improvement in the top end of the field in there. It wouldn't let me type so much, lol, says Leicester for life. Thank you for that. Jim says Maddison and Barnes going was always going to happen. Better players always get picked off. Still a lot being spent on wages. So definitely a lot of movement will happen before the end of the window. Jim, 100%. I agree with you. I think a lot will happen in there. Richie says Danny Ward, Alex Smith is also need to go. It was interesting yesterday with the keeper situation. Did I miss something? I have been away. We put this new keeper in the sticks. Okay, I get that. Maybe he's going to be the number one. But as far as I could see, Iverson or Ward or Smithies weren't anywhere in that squad yesterday. Did I misread that yesterday? That none of the three keepers from last season were actually in the squad. So what does that tell you? Interestingly, Leicester for Life says bring back Ryan Bennett. God dear. I tell you what, mate, we thought things were bad when we signed Ryan Bennett on loan in that January. Little did we know it was going to get a little bit worse in there. Ben says, can a Saudi club listen? Let's get on the phone. We'll get the blower out. Let's phone one of them Saudi clubs. Yeah, they're not interested, Ben. Sorry, mate. Can't give that away. Hang on, I've got Loughborough Dynamo on the other phone. Yeah, they're not interested either, mate. Sorry, mate. I'm struggling to get rid of Daka. You're all going to moan. Oh, Phil. Dicking into Daka again. Dicking into Daka. Listen, let's get Jono on. Are you ready to come on, Jono? Give me a big thumbs up if you are, mate. Here he is. Jono is here. Sir.
Good evening.
Firstly, Jono, how was trying to do an hour and 15 minutes watch along yesterday of a screen of an empty stadium very wet? Did you enjoy?
Well, really did half of it. Then I felt bad, so I had to join in because it looked like he couldn't cope. So I had to come in. But it was trying to talk about nothing. It's like water out of a stone. You just eventually run out of things to say. But it's all the pitch. It was literally like a swimming pool. So
listen, Jono, and everybody who's watching, am I moaning already before the season started that why did we play in Thailand? Where were all these fans that you see in these photo shoots? The millions of Leicester fans in Thailand, where were they in that stadium yesterday? Excuse me, please.
Well, I thought it was going to be like Leicester's going to be the biggest. Like when we go to another place, like the other club's massive. I thought this is going to be where Leicester is going to be the biggest club. But if anything, Spurs had more fans.
Yes, agreed.
Barely any. But I don't know.
That stadium holds 70,000, if my Wikipedia is correct, and they look like there might have been about 8 to 10 in there, maybe more. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, it certainly wasn't anywhere near a quarter full.
No, like nowhere near a quarter full. But the fans is one thing, but the training, the important game wasn't played. So, as someone said before earlier, why didn't you play in a closed top roof, like closed top stadiums where you can play even if it's hammering it down?
So a bit strange, and then obviously not many fans there, so that sort of makes you think, why are we playing the other side of the world if there's not many fans actually bought tickets? That was my big thing, because this is all a PR trip, branding. This is what we're told. But if nobody goes into the game to buy a ticket, they might as well just be, if they're all at home watching it on telly, they might as well be playing the match Leicester against Spurs in
Europe.
Yeah, in Europe. So that was one point. Second point is it was clearly wet. I love listening to the Leicester commentary on it, where they spent nearly an hour not mentioning that it was wet and probably going to be called off.
Well, they can't be negative, really. They can't be saying they can't be saying, you know what, guys, it looks awful. It's going to be red lights to be called off, because they can't really say that because everyone will just tune off, wouldn't they? Just in case. But it was quite like I didn't listen to it much because I was on with Reedy. So, but it's just I felt sorry for these 6 people standing there holding a bit of string up, like at the side of the pitch, waiting for the players to come on. That's for well,
I was watching. They were skipping it. I was like, that was the most entertaining thing. I thought, come on, somebody go and Vardy, get out there and do a bit of skipping.
Exactly.
Somebody give us something.
Do something.
Yeah, somebody do something. James says here, total waste of time going to Thailand. I said it the day we got relegated. In fact, I said it the week before we got relegated. I said we need to sort this out. We've obviously now, Jono, we've effectively, I know we played a couple of closed doors games, but they're nothing like real. That's a training session. We played Northampton Town away so far.
Not enough. If you look at the team, it was completely different. We had 4 at the back instead of 3 at the back. We didn't have a CDM. We didn't have Samari and Didi or Chowdhury in. We had 1 striker only. So we had a 4-5-1, which is completely different to the game against Northampton. So that's saying to me, he's trying something different. Maybe he's got a different route. But now we've only got 1 game left to practice one of those. So we must have 2 games to go, right, this is one we're going with. Let's practice against Liverpool and finalise it. Let's get it all together. But now we don't have that. We have that 1 game to first half to practice, second half maybe to finalise it. It's not enough time to get that final tactic, all the tactics in place.
Again, Jono, this is what I was saying earlier. This is some of my worry this season is we've obviously had great years. We've been through all that, but I want us to come straight back up. I want us to be at the top of the table or in the top 2 or 3 after 10 games because we need to be flying. We need to see a flying start because there will be people out there who will use the line and say, well, Leicester have employed a person who's coached at Man City for a year, never really managed a football club, and that's a gamble. If we're outside, say, the top 6 after 10 games, people were saying, I'm not sure this is working. And that's why that Coventry game at home is a poison chalice, Jono, because I hope we win it, but they're a good side from last year who just narrowly missed out. Ain't going to be easy. Local rivalry. They're going to be up for it. I hope we get a home win because else already at 3 o'clock on that Sunday the 6th, if we haven't got a win, people will be saying, bad pre-season. What do you expect?
Well, apart from the pre-season, I would say the club's done everything right, to be honest, because we got rid of the manager, we got rid of the backroom staff, we replaced them in very good time. Over a month ago now, we've hired them. We've gotten rid of all the players on high wages, like Bertrand and all those sort of players on ridiculous wages didn't play. They're gone. We got rid of Madison, which we need to get rid of. We got rid of Barnes, so massive wages. We got rid of all of them. Brought in 4 decent players. Cody was one of them. Hopefully he's not injured before the season. We've, done that side of things, and we've still got more players incoming. Yes, we might have more players going, but that side of things has been doing, from my eyes, very good. But when it comes to the playing side, that for me still looks a bit dodgy. I saw inklings of really good in Northampton, but we need to see more of it. And there's only 1 opportunity left to get it right before a massive, one of our biggest games since probably for me the FA Cup in a long time, and we're not being fully prepared.
Richie says here, give Enzo Maresca a chance to prove Leicester City. Richie, I'm 100% back him. I'm excited like you all are. I have to be honest and say we have to have a good start to the season, those first 10 games, the first 20 games. We need to be there or thereabouts because this is going to be about momentum. Because our momentum over the last 18 months has been a bit of a steady and then a drop off a cliff. And we need to very quickly have that bounce back, Jono. So listen, Harvey Barnes has gone. Madison's gone. I still feel there's 3 or 4 going out the door before the end of the transfer window. I'm not saying before the Coventry game, but before the end of the transfer window. A lot of rumours about Ricardo Pereira, and yet it feels like we've put a lot of eggs in that basket with formations potentially.
Castagna was heavily linked, literally looked like he was walking out of the door for Juventus. That looked like it was dead and buried. Now, Ricardo, in the Northampton game, I don't know if it was me, but it looked like it was Ricardo on the right-hand side all game. So that was obviously one tactic. Obviously, that has to be plan B because just in case he does go. But but no other players massively linked. Ricardo and Castagna, for me, the only 2 players that have been massively linked with a move. Daka, Ian Atcher as well. Was linked with Forest, but I don't mind losing Nacho, but Ricardo will be a massive blow. Ricardo will be the biggest blow if we lose him.
You see, I'm more concerned about Nacho because I think Nacho would give you 30 to 40 games in a season and would be... Nacho is one of those players, like Ricardo, too good for the Championship. But my worry with Ricardo is at any second, he could get injured. And he could be out for pretty much the whole season. So that's why I would, for me, people like Nacho, I'm more bothered about Nacho being available here. Joe, I just want to answer Joe here because people will ask questions, Jono. I want you to answer this and I want me to answer this. Because the thing, like I always say, is these videos, they stay there. They're on YouTube. You can see what we said last year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Joe asks, how do you feel if we're outside the top 6 after 10 games, Phil? Well, Joe, you can come and check back after 10 games, and I will say it now. If we're outside the top 6 after 10 games, I will be very disappointed, Joe. And I will be already starting to think, did we appoint the right guy to get us there? Because 10 games in is a quarter of the season gone. And I know a lot can change, but I think we need to have a flying start, Joe. That's my honesty, is I want us in the top 6 after 10 games. Bare minimum, mate. Jono, what's your honest answer to Joe?
The problem is that it's a bit 50-50 because it takes a long time for a brand new, like, look at Arteta. It took him a whole season to build, like, to survive not getting sacked, and another season to start building a sort of ground, like a template for his team. Now they're flying. That's 3 seasons. Now, Leicester City fans don't want that. We want to be promoted next season minimum. So, but it's a thing of give him time, give him the resources, but also this is why preseason is so important, because he needs as much game time as possible to get this opportunity. But
to get the speed going. Well,
exactly.
I think Jono sort of dodged that answer there slightly, but the most important one is, Joe Wright, what do you think if we're outside the top 6 after 10 games? Doesn't matter what I think particularly, or Jono here.
I'll be angry. I'll be angry.
You'd be angry. Joe, put in the comments, where would you be? And everybody else watching this, after 10 games, I don't want to put... Joe's put the question in. I don't want to put a pinch point in, but I'm being honest. People ask a question, I'll give you my view. Leicester Fan TV, Jono, is all about, if we're down the pub, we'll have a pint, we'll debate it. And I'm not right, you're not right, I'm not wrong, you're not wrong. We have our own views, and that's why we love it. Nick says pre-season is all down to King Power. I'm sure Enzo wouldn't have planned a pre-season like this. It's all or an exercise. Of course he wouldn't know. Max says, has Mavididi been confirmed yet? There's rumours, isn't there, Jono, still? I mean, there's a lot of rumours all over the place.
I mean, when what's his face? Fabrizio, that's it. When he puts up a thing where, like, we're very close to signing someone, it's pretty much almost certain we're going to sign them. It's just a thing now, get the paperwork sorted. But again, if we sign him, is that preempting another player going?
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Andy says here, outside the top 6 after 10 games, if we are within 2 places of that, I won't be worried, as that league is swings and roundabouts. If we're bottom half, then I still expect us to get playoffs in there. Need to be attacking football, says Dave, but can't see where that comes from at the moment. Ben says, this is the problem. Time isn't on Enzo's side. I know he said it may take 3 years for him to build, but financially we need to get back up this season at all costs, Jono. Ben probably hits the nail on the head there. We've got a plan. We've got a plan. Trust me, the plan has to be get back into the Premier League first shot.
Like, if you put our starting 11 on right now, before any more players come in or out, on the table, we've got one of the best Championship sides ever. Like, we've still got...
It's a Premier League side at the moment. It's a squad.
It's a half-decent Premier League side. Yeah. Now, if you put that against any Championship team, we should be doing well. Not saying win every game, because that's not feasible, but put up a fight. But we need to put down the foundations of fitness, background staff, a decent pre-season. So, but as I agree, like, we need to hit the ground running and just no more tippy-toe football, to go all out all season.
James says Enzo will be sacked if we're not in the top 6 after 10 games. I hope not, James. I hope we do give him longer than that. And I asked Joe to give us his answer. Thank you, Joe, so much, because your view, Joe, is more important than mine. So certainly. Joe says, I think it's about giving the manager time. But if I'm honest, I want to see us right up there challenging all season, Joe. I would absolutely agree with you in there. I want to give him time. I will give him time. Goods says here, the championship is very competitive, 8 to 10 good teams. So we may flirt in the top 10 for the first 15 to 20 games. I agree with you, Goods. You've got to be around that top 6, haven't you, Jono? You've got to be around it.
Yeah, like,
if not.
I remember last season, I think like between second and 8th was like 6 points. You know, it's very tight in that league, and you can have a bad month, and all of a sudden you've gone from top to middle. So it's all about consistency. But if we do go that way, don't panic, because we can build it back up. So it's in the last 10 games of the season, if we're a big chunk off, we'll be like, you know what, this has been poor.
Yeah. Scott says his squad, as it is, would be favourites for almost every game. Winning them is another matter. And Scott, I'm going to add that in to Jono. I genuinely think this squad is nowhere near the final squad when the transfer window ends, Jono. I'm sure.
No, it's not.
Sure, there's going to be. Well, and Jono, just on the keepers yesterday, like I said, I've been away. Was I missing something? There was no Everson, no Ward, and no Smithers in the squad.
Well, just Hermanson. I hope Danny Ward was big get a taxi to Loughborough, because that's where he can play next. Smithies can go, and Iverson is a backup keeper. That's what I hope. That's what I hope would happen. I wish Daka and Ward would link arms and skip down the sunny horizon on the yellow brick road down. Yeah, that's it.
I've just bashed my knee on the table.
Like linking arms, skipping along down the road with their, with the money we've given them for the contracts.
Oh, bless. As you can tell, me and John are not big fans of Daka.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Daka.
Well, again, we always say it, Jono. Watch my videos of last summer when Casper went. I said Danny Ward is not good enough, and I said it numerous times for 25 games until finally we dropped him and we did a little bit later. Richie says, am I okay? I've just bust my knee. That's me out for 5-a-side on Wednesday, Richie, mate, honestly. And you'll be missing a treat if you ever watch that. Jono, listen, thanks for joining us live tonight. It's been great to get your views on.
No problem. See you later, Phil.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Jono. Thanks to Jono for joining us soon. Listen, I'm live every Monday, 7:30 till 8. Jamie's live on every Sunday. We've got Locks is back, starting his new Leicester Championship roundup every Thursday. We've got Tom's going to be doing the away fan show. Sam and Reedy are going to be doing match previews, match reviews. We'll be live at games, chatting with you lot. We'll be doing loads and loads and loads and loads of Leicester Fan TV. It's all chat. It's what you talk about matters. Not me, not Jono, not Reedy, not Sam. I mean, obviously what Jamie says, he is the god, so we have to listen to what he says. That's Jamie from the Fox's Aftermath, not Jamie Reedy. Bless him. Anyway, we'll see you next Monday. We'll be live as soon as there is a new signing, a new sale, whatever goes on. So if you ever see it pop up on whatever social media you're following Leicester Fan TV at, it probably means something's happening. So tune in, give us your views, let us know. Do you want to sell them? Do you want to buy them? Do you want to get rid? What do you want to do? Anyway, from me, Phil, thanks so much for all your views and comments tonight. You guys, as ever, are the stars of Leicester Fan TV. 2 weeks and counting. Less than 2 weeks. 13 days, and we'll be all back down at the holy ground of King Power Stadium to see Leicester v Coventry. Buy some players. Come on.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.